Welcome back, dear listener, to our quiet journey through the shadows of history. Tonight, we turn another page in our soft and unsettling series, The Worst Medieval Punishments in History. This is episode 8, and we step into the story of a device whose very design makes the imagination tremble. It was not meant to crush bones or tear flesh in open spectacle. It worked in silence, in secrecy, a punishment that unfolded inside the body itself. The device was called the Pear of Anguish. Before we imagine the device itself, let us begin where punishments were handed down. Picture a dimly lit chamber, stone walls with damp, flickering candlelight, throwing long shadows against iron hooks and wooden benches. Inquisitors and judges sat at tables heavy with parchment, quills scratching judgments into the record. And at the center of the room stood the accused. Unlike the breaking wheel, the pillory, or the scold's bridle, the pear was not meant for public shame. It was designed for private terror. The Pear of Anguish looked, at first glance, almost harmless, a small metal object, shaped somewhat like a fruit, made of 4 curved leaves of iron joined at the top. A screw mechanism allowed those leaves to slowly expand outward, wider and wider. It could fit neatly into the palm of a hand. And yet, once inserted into the mouth, or in some cases, into other parts of the body, it became an instrument of unbearable pain. As the screw turned, the metal leaves spread apart, forcing soft flesh and bone against unyielding iron. No blood was spilled, no marks were left on the outside, and perhaps that was its most chilling trait. The suffering it caused remained hidden. The Pear of Anguish was said to be used most often on women, those accused of witchcraft, of adultery, of blasphemy, of spreading words or behaviors judged improper by men in power. This device was mainly used on women, but was also used on men accused of homosexuality. Sometimes it was used against heretics, those who defied the church with forbidden ideas. Other times, against criminals accused of lying or deception. But in truth, its reputation may have been larger than its reality. Historians today debate whether it was used as widely as legend claims, or whether later generations exaggerated its cruelty. Still, the fact remains. The device existed, and even the idea of its use was enough to inspire dread. Imagine, then, the moment of punishment. The condemned forced to open their mouth. The iron pear slid between the teeth. At first, no pain, just the cold taste of metal. The leaves began to open, pressing outward, jaws strained, teeth cracked. The very structure of the face pushed against its limits. Other accounts suggest the device could be used in darker ways, inserted into the body where flesh was most vulnerable. Here, too, the screw would turn, and silence would be broken only by muffled cries. The pear did not always kill. Sometimes it was meant only to punish, to scar from the inside out. Sometimes it was a tool of interrogation, forcing confessions, whispered through shattered teeth and broken spirit. What is striking about the Pear of Anguish is how quiet it was. Unlike the wheel or the gallows, there was no roaring crowd, no cheering, no spectacle of blood. It was a punishment of secrecy, hidden behind closed doors, whispered about in fearful tones. For those who lived under medieval law, the mere rumor of such a device was enough to ensure obedience. Because, in a world where so many punishments were public, this one was terrifying. Precisely because it was private. It said, "We can silence you from the inside out." Was it truly as common as stories say? We may never know, But the Pear of Anguish has lingered in legend, displayed in museums, sketched in books, retold across centuries. It may have been as much a symbol as a tool, an embodiment of fear, of control, of the belief that punishment did not always need to be seen to be felt. And as we reflect on this, there's a curious kind of relief, because even the most brutal devices eventually become relics. Iron rusts, screws fall silent, and the hands that once turned them are long gone. So now, dear listener, as you drift deeper into rest, imagine those medieval halls falling quiet again. The pears of anguish gathering dust, their silence finally harmless. This has been episode 8 of the worst medieval punishments in history. And in our next chapter, we turn to yet another infamous device, one that did not pierce or burn, but instead pulled the body apart inch by inch. The rack, where one's body was stretched beyond endurance. Until then, good night.